Before we all get self-righteous about what Israel's doing, and I feel horrible for the innocent people in Gaza that are dying, well, we shouldn't forget that we, the United States, killed a lot of innocent people in Mosul and Raqqa, that we, the United States, killed 12,000 innocent French civilians. And here we are on the 80th anniversary of Normandy, on the prep fires for Normandy. We destroyed 69 Japanese cities, not including Hiroshima and Nagasaki. We slaughtered people in massive numbers, innocent people who had nothing to do with their government, men, women, and children. War is a terrible thing. But if it's going to have meaning, if it's going to have any sense of morality, it has to be a political purpose, and it must be achieved rapidly with the least cost.
This is my video update on this Wednesday, midday, May the 8th. Let's talk about some news. And let's start things off with Putin's inauguration. It did indeed take place yesterday. Putin was inaugurated as Russia's president, I believe for a 5th term. And the EU countries that attended Putin's inauguration, and a big shout out to Emil Kozmin because he did the research on this, so I am just piggybacking off of his work. But the EU countries that attended the inauguration of Vladimir Putin were France, Malta, Greece, Cyprus, Hungary, and Slovakia. Belgium was going to attend, but on May the 6th, they backed out. They got scared. Someone told Belgium, don't go. And Belgium decided not to attend. So those were the countries from the European Union that did send a representative to Putin's inauguration. So from Putin's inauguration to an alleged Elensky assassination, news came in on the same day that Putin was being inaugurated that there was an assassination attempt that was foiled. Not only on Elensky, but also against Budanov, as well as Malyuk, the SBU chief. Remember Malyuk? We were talking a lot about him when the Crocus terrorist attack in Moscow happened. But it was an assassination attempt against Elensky, Malyuk, and Budanov. And this assassination attempt, according to Ukraine sources, was foiled on the same day that Putin was inaugurated. We got the news of this assassination attempt. Coincidence? Probably not. Probably not. I don't know. But the reports are that this was a network being run out of Moscow. Wow. A Moscow network. And they were going to take out Elensky, Budanov, and Malyuk with missiles and kamikaze drones. That was how they were going to do this thing. 1 second here. The Strana news outlet has identified the detainees as the head of the State Security Administration, Andrei Yuk, and his colleague surnamed Derkach. Both are said to have been arrested simultaneously on Saturday. The SBU says the men were agents of a network which it alleges was being orchestrated from Moscow and were conducting surveillance on Elensky and other government officials with the intent to coordinate a missile strike and a kamikaze drone attack on them. Okay. That's an interesting way to to assassinate someone or assassinate a group of people with a kamikaze drone. Why not? I don't know. Who am I to say how assassinations are being done nowadays? But the reports goes on to say that the assassinations of some of the officials were reportedly supposed to take place before Orthodox Easter on May 5th, with the murder of Elensky supposedly being planned as a gift to Putin before the inauguration on Tuesday, Malyuk claimed in a statement quoted by the SBU. So here is where their story, their narrative falls apart, in my opinion. Everything is plausible. It could be believed that there's a network being run out of Moscow which wants to take out Budanov, Elensky, and Malyuk. Okay, fine. Even though I'm of the opinion that Russia would not want to see Elensky go, because they couldn't ask for a more incompetent opponent. But whatever. He's on a wanted list now. His term ends at the end of May. So who knows what Elensky's fate is going to be. But still believable. This could be believed that Russia wants to take out these three guys, right? And then they have to throw in this line about the assassination being a gift to Putin before the inauguration. This is where their narrative becomes ridiculous. But they always have to do this. They always have to go just a bit too far in their reporting, in their narrative creation, in their script writing. They always have to go just a bit too far. 1 second. Let me move on a bit. I'm walking the wall today. I am walking the wall. All right. So what was I saying? Yeah, they always have to throw in some strange Putin dictator, emperor. This was going to be his gift type of stuff in their reporting. They should have stopped it at assassination with kamikaze drones and missiles. Just stop there. Just stop there. A network out of Moscow, we believe a network out of Moscow, was trying to take out Elensky, Budanov, and Malyuk using kamikaze drones. And just leave it there. Say no more. You've got your story. You've got your story. You can send it to the BBC. You can send it to CNN. You got it. And it'll be published on the same day that Putin is being inaugurated. So there you go. But nope, they have to take it one step further and talk about how this was going to be a gift to Putin during his inauguration, because, Putin, that's the gift that he wants, is to annihilate Elensky on the day of his inauguration. That's the gift that he's waiting for. It's just nonsense, man. It's just nonsense. They always take it too far. When it comes to Putin, they always have to take it too far. They take it to the point where it just becomes not believable, or it's just not believable. Or at least anyone with a thinking brain reads stuff like this and says, okay, this is ridiculous. A gift to Putin for his inauguration. It's their Putin derangement syndrome, right? Like Trump derangement syndrome. This is their Putin derangement syndrome, their PDS. It compels them to have to put lines like this into their stories. Anyway, since I mentioned the Crocus City terror attacks, we do have a quick update on what is going on there. The head of the FSB said in a statement yesterday that the terror attacks were organized from abroad. Moscow terror attack mastermind is abroad. Investigators have a clear idea of who is behind the Crocus City Hall massacre, the head of the Russian security service has said. Quote, "We can practically guess who it is. There is a main organizer who is abroad." This is according to the FSB. They don't tell us anything more. That is it. We can practically guess who it is. There is a main organizer who is abroad. So where is this main organizer? What do you guys think? When the FSB says abroad, what country comes to mind? The obvious guess is Ukraine. I think that's the obvious answer. But who knows? Maybe the FSB is going to surprise us. Maybe they're going to name a different country where this mastermind is located. I don't know. So yesterday we had another large Russian missile attack across most of Ukraine, once again targeting the energy infrastructure and successfully hitting the energy infrastructure in many regions in Ukraine. And here is what the Ukrainian Air Force is saying about this Russian missile strike. Ukraine's Air Force intercepted and destroyed 59 air targets, 39 missiles, and 20 Shahed drones. In total, in the early morning of May 8, Russian forces launched a combined airstrike using 76 air attack assets, including 55 missiles and 21 drones. So 21 drones were launched, 20 were intercepted, 55 missiles were launched, and 39 were intercepted. So let's do some Annalena math. Let's do some Annalena Baerbock 360 math. Let's see, 21 minus 20 equals 1. One drone got through, and let's see, 55 missiles, 39 intercepted, 55 minus 39, carry the 1. Annalena Baerbock math, 16. 16. So one drone got through, according to the Ukraine Air Force, and 16 missiles got through. So a year ago, nothing would get through, right? It was a 99%, sometimes 110% success rate in intercepting missiles and drones. Now they're not coming out with that narrative, are they? They're intercepting drones and they're intercepting missiles, but they're not putting out statements saying that they intercepted 99% of the missiles. I imagine in the case of hitting energy infrastructure, like power plants and electricity facilities, you can't really hide the fact from your people. You can't hide the fact that these facilities have been damaged, have been hit, because the people in the area, they have to live with the consequences, the results of the attack. They have no power, no electricity. So you can't really tell them that you intercepted 100% or 99% of the missiles. So anyway, that is what happened yesterday. Russia continues to go after the energy infrastructure of Ukraine. And let's now talk about Xi Jinping and his trip to Hungary. But more importantly, let's discuss his trip to Serbia, because while he was in Serbia, he attended the 25th anniversary of the NATO bombing on the Chinese embassy in Belgrade. That happened in 1999. And here is what Xi Jinping said while he was at this event. China should never forget the bombs that claimed the lives of the journalists that were killed, Xiao Yinwan, Zhu Jinghu, and Zhu Yang. This is what Xi wrote in an opinion piece published in the Serbian paper Politika. So this is what Xi wrote before the event. The Chinese people cherish peace, but we will never allow such tragic history to repeat itself, the president added. We support Serbia's effort to uphold its sovereignty and territorial integrity and oppose any attempt by any forces to interfere in Serbia's internal affairs, Xi wrote in his article for Politika. China and Serbia hold similar positions in many major international and regional issues, Xi noted, adding that the two countries should cooperate in bringing about an equal and orderly multipolar world and a universally beneficial and inclusive economic globalization. Basically, Xi is saying that China has Serbia's back. That's the message that he's delivering to Hungary. That's the message that he is delivering to Serbia. China is with you. Quite a powerful message, a powerful ally to have. I believe that China is now Serbia's second largest trade partner, right behind the European Union. It's China that is doing the most trade with Serbia. And if I'm not mistaken, I read somewhere that China is actually thinking of building, I could be wrong about this, but they're in talks to build a car manufacturing facility, I believe in Hungary. And they're also building a lot of facilities in Serbia as well, a lot of joint ventures in Serbia as well. A lot of investment taking place from China in these two countries. Look, these are the two countries that are in Europe that China can deal with, can cooperate with. So this all makes sense. This completely makes sense. Xi Jinping's trip to France makes sense. He gave it one last go with Macron, trying to talk some sense to little Napoleon. Did it work? Probably not. But China understands that if there's two countries that they can absolutely cooperate with and invest in Europe, it's Hungary and Serbia. Financial Times, they put out an article with the title, Xi Jinping lashes out at NATO over 1999 Belgrade bombing ahead of Serbia visit. Chinese president cites ties forged with blood as he looks for allies during first European trip in 5 years. As he looks for allies. Because no one wants to be allies with China, right, Financial Times? Let the China demonization begin. They forge a tie with blood, according to the Financial Times. That's right. Just forget about, hey, China, just forget about the fact that NATO bombed your embassy. Just forget about that. Just move on, right? So that's what the Financial Times is telling you. Just move on from that incident. After all, NATO is just a defensive alliance, right? They're not a party to the conflict in Ukraine or any conflict. That's not what NATO's about. Oh, the Financial Times. So yeah, the China demonization is beginning, and it's getting pretty aggressive. It's gaining a lot of momentum, the demonization of China. Completely expected. After Russia, it's China, and after Putin, it's Xi Jinping. Yesterday, I talked about how 12 senators, they sent a letter to the ICC warning the ICC threatening the International Criminal Court. Look at that lizard. Oh, wow. Bro. I heard that lizard, and I hope you guys can see him. He's like right in that little nook. Oh, man. I don't know if I caught that on video. It's a big lizard. Have a good day, my lizard friend. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy the heat. I know you are enjoying this weather. This is lizard weather. Let's see here. Am I still recording? Yeah, all right, good. So what was I saying? Yeah, the demonization of China is really picking up momentum. And, well, the Olympic Games, the Olympic Games, it's time to demonize China because Russia's not going to be there, right? So you can only demonize Russia up to a certain point, right? So you got to demonize a country that's going to actually participate in the Olympic Games. And, well, it's China's turn now. Cheating Chinese could wreck Paris Olympics, U.S. anti-doping chief. Illegal performance-enhancing drug used by China's top swimmers is being covered up, says Travis Tygart. And Travis Tygart is the head of the U.S. anti-doping agency, USADA. He said in an interview published on Politico, he claimed that WADA is biased towards Chinese athletes and let China off the hook intentionally and swept the case under the carpet. So what case is Tygart talking about? Well, there was an article in the New York Times which said that during the Tokyo Olympics, which took place in 2021 because of the lockdowns and the coup and all of that stuff, that there were Chinese swimmers, according to the New York Times. I believe it was the New York Times that put out this report, this investigation, this exclusive investigation from the NYT. And they said that the Chinese swimmers were busted doping, and the Chinese doping agency knew it. And then the Olympic agencies, they also got wind of this, but because it's China and because they're biased towards China, they swept everything under the rug, according to the NYT. That's what this U.S. anti-doping official is saying. They are biased towards China, and now he's saying that the Olympics in Paris are going to be polluted polluted by China. They're going to be wrecked, he said, wrecked by China because they're all doping, and the Olympic Committee, they're not going to do anything about it because they don't want to piss off China. Because U.S. athletes, collective West athletes, they don't dope. Not at all. Never, ever, ever. Never, ever, ever, ever. No chance. It's the Russians and the Chinese and the Iranians and the North Koreans. They're the ones that are always doing these things, trying to ruin the Olympics. Damn it, China, why are you trying to ruin the Paris Olympic Games? China. Oh, boy. The biased Olympics. They're always biased towards China. I think we need a new Olympics. I think we're getting to that point where it's time to move away from the Olympics and maybe start a new international sporting event. Yeah. So we are getting reports from Reuters that the U.S. could stop funding the United Nations. And the reason that they're considering stopping to fund the United Nations is because there is going to be a vote, or there could be a vote this Friday in the General Assembly for Palestine to be an official member of the UN. And Israel's very upset about this, and the US is very upset about this. And they are saying that if this vote takes place and if Palestine becomes an official member state of the United Nations, then the US could pull their funding of the UN. Actually, this is a US law. Under US law, Washington cannot fund any UN organization that grants full membership to any group that does not have the internationally recognized attributes of statehood. In 2011, the US halted funding of the UN Cultural Agency, UNESCO, after the Palestinian Authority became a full member. So when it became a full member of UNESCO, the US stopped funding UNESCO. And so if it becomes a full member of the UN, well, then the US, I imagine under law, it says under law, has to stop funding the United Nations. So let's just move the United Nations to Dubai. That's what I say. A friend of mine once told me this. He said, you know, I'm living in Dubai, and I can tell you right now that the UN should be based in Dubai. Why not? Why not? A change in location could be a good thing. So it's going to go for a vote, I believe, Friday, possibly Friday. This could be voted on, and then it goes to the Security Council, and then the Security Council votes on it, of which the U.S. will veto that. But I don't know what happens after that. I don't know if it then goes back to the General Assembly, and then they take another vote, and Palestine becomes a member, or if it stops at the Security Council. This I don't know. I'm not quite sure how the procedure goes. But anyway, that is what the U.S. is saying. That is what they're threatening the UN with. No more funding, no more money, no more moolah. We're also getting reports from Axios that the House Republicans are preparing legislation to sanction the International Criminal Court, well, criminal court officials, as a precaution against potential arrest warrants of Israeli officials. Boy, this ICC thing, this really, really upset not only Netanyahu in Israel, but this really upset the United States. I mean, this really, really bothered the United States. I mean, they're losing their minds over this ICC thing. I mean, Russia was upset for like a day. And then Putin, I don't even think Putin said anything, did he? He just brushed it off. Look at the frogs. Probably can't see the frogs. They're swimming in the water. There we go. There's one. Wow, there's a lot of them. I don't want to scare them. Let them be. Let them enjoy their afternoon. They deserve it. The frogs deserve it. They're doing good work. I don't know what that work is, but, you know, they're doing good work. So yeah, this whole ICC thing, this really, really, really pissed off the United States. I guess it pisses them off because it blows up their whole ICC narrative, doesn't it? And I imagine they're pretty upset about that. You shall not pass. You shall not pass. Oh, man. I walked all this way. I'm going to have to go around. Anyway, yeah, so that's the news from the U.S. House. And finally, before we get to some clown worlds, we have this news coming out of Rumble. Well, here's a post on Twitter X from Chris Pavlovsky, who is the CEO, the founder of Rumble. He posted this: Russia has officially blocked Rumble because we refuse to comply with their censorship demands. Ironically, YouTube is still operating in Russia, and everyone needs to ask what Russian demands Google and YouTube are complying with. So this was an interesting post from the Rumble chief, and we don't have any other details. We don't know what the censorship, what the demands were from Russia to Rumble, or if this was something else. We have no idea what's going on here, but I have seen some comments in Twitter which indicate, Twitter X, which indicate that Rumble has indeed been blocked. Now you can access Rumble via VPN, but still, it's been blocked in Russia. So what are the demands? What are the censorship demands? I don't know. I imagine if it is connected to removing videos or removing content, then I imagine it's content that's connected, obviously, to the special military operation. That would be my guess. That would be the obvious guess. But maybe it's something else. Pawlowski doesn't get into any detail. We haven't had, at the time of this recording, maybe in the afternoon, we will get a statement. But at the time of this recording, we haven't had any statement from the Russian communications watchdog or the Russian government. You know, RT is allowed to publish on Rumble. So I don't know. This doesn't seem like it's a very smart move from the Russian government or from the Russian communications watchdog, because Rumble has been allowing Russian media to publish freely on their platform. They haven't been censoring any Russian media, including RT, including state media. So I don't know what is behind this. It doesn't look like it's a smart move. This doesn't look like it's a good move. If this does have to do with the special military operation, I don't know how something like this gets resolved. If Rumble doesn't want to remove content that goes against Russian laws about publishing content connected to the war, I don't know how you get past that. If it's something else, then I imagine they could work it out. They could find a solution. Why would RT, for example, why would they want Rumble banned in Russia? Why would they want it blocked in Russia? But I suggested in a post on Twitter X that this could be something else. In 2014, Russia passed a law which said that Russian citizens' data on large platforms, on large social networks, Russian citizens' data has to reside in Russia. There has to be a copy of this data on servers located in Russia. That was a law that they passed. Now, most large platforms, they complied with this law. I believe Facebook was upset with it and they were going back and forth, but I think eventually Facebook said, okay, we'll keep a copy of Russian citizens' data on servers located inside of Russia. Fine, we'll agree to this. LinkedIn didn't agree to this. LinkedIn, from what I understand, said, no, we don't want to keep user data, a copy of Russian user data inside of Russia. We don't agree with this, and LinkedIn was blocked, and it's been blocked ever since. So that is a law that was passed. LinkedIn has been blocked because they didn't comply with this law. Maybe Rumble now is considered a very large platform in Russia. Rumble is growing a lot. It's growing very quickly. And maybe that's what this is about. Maybe the communications agency in Russia told Rumble, look, you have to start keeping Russian user data. You have to keep a copy of this data inside of Russia. And maybe Rumble didn't agree to this. I don't know. That's just a guess, though. That's just a guess. Pawlowski said it was a censorship thing. He didn't say this was a data thing, a user data thing. So I don't know. We'll find out. We'll find out what's going on. And I hope this can be resolved, because if this is a censorship thing and they've blocked Rumble, that's not good. That is not good. But if this falls under the laws of the special military operation and the war, then I don't know what you can do in that instance. Anyway, let's do some clown worlds and we'll wrap this video up. How am I doing on time? All right, I can do some clown worlds. Let's see here. So Macron and Xi, when they were having lunch, when they sat down for a nice lunch, Macron's favorite dessert is according to Le Figaro. His favorite dessert, which is usually served at these types of events, is Russian cake. That's what Macron likes to eat as dessert. But it was not served at this lunch with Xi Jinping. Le Figaro reports that at the dinner, which coincided with Putin's inauguration day, Russian cake was replaced by blueberry pie due to its delicate name given the geopolitical context. Russian cake is a very popular dessert, usually served in France at high dinners for over 40 years, consisting of almond, sponge cake, and buttercream. Okay, so now we know Macron's favorite dessert. It's Russian cake. Oh, man. But instead, they had blueberry pie. What else? I don't know what kind of a clown world that was. Anyway, I thought it was interesting. I thought it was an interesting story. So Eurovision is going on, huh? Eurovision. Yeah, that's going to provide us with a whole lot of clown worlds. So I saw the video, the performance of Ireland. I believe this was Ireland at the Eurovision Song Contest, which is taking place in Malmo, Sweden. And what the F is going on in Ireland, man? Was this Ireland? Because this was like a performance with all kinds of satanic evil stuff. What is going on there? I don't know. Anyway, I'm not even going to put the video up. I won't even put it up because I don't know. Even without sound, I don't know about copyright stuff or anything like that when it comes to Eurovision. But I do believe it was Ireland. You can go onto Twitter or Telegram, search it out, and look at the performance. Scary stuff, man. Really, really scary stuff, man. Jeez. Oh, boy. God help us. Anyway, what else? Pirate Schultz. This is a final clown world. Pirate Schultz, as we are at the tennis academy here in Nicosia. They have clay courts, which is the best surface, is clay. But we have Pirate Schultz, who is prohibiting tomorrow during Victory Day, prohibiting any Z symbols, any V symbols, any St. George ribbons, the colors, anything connected to Russian Den Pobeda, the Victory Day, is going to be prohibited and banned in Germany, according to Pirate Schultz. Arg! There will be no Victory Day symbols in Germany. This is an order from Pirate Schultz. Anyone that carries a St. George ribbon is going to walk the plank. Yeah, so that's coming out of Pirate Schultz. Oh, boy. All right, that's the video, everybody. TheDuran.locals.com. We are on Rumble, ODYSEE, BitChute, Telegram, Rockfin, and Twitter X. And go to the Duran shop. Use the code. Use no code. Use no code. Just look for limited edition merch. The link is in the description box down below. So there's the wall that goes into the occupied north right there. I don't know if you guys can see. So I'm right on the edge of the green line, the separation of Nicosia, and I don't even know where this leads to. So if you want to stick with me, we'll see where this goes. Close the door. Okay, so there we are on the other side. All right, I will end the video there. UN Lookout Post 65. A divided city. You can see there. All right, everybody, take care.